Did you know the first hour after you wake up could be the key to living well into your 90s? It might sound surprising, but it's true. Every morning, without even realizing it, most people make choices that could be quietly cutting years off their lives. In this video, I'm going to share 7 powerful morning habits. They're common among people who live vibrant, independent lives well into their 90s and beyond. And wait until you hear about habit number 4. It takes only 30 seconds, but could add years to your life. These aren't your typical health tips, and chances are your doctor has never mentioned them. But the research behind them is compelling. Let me introduce you to Walter. At 65, Walter watched his friends begin to suffer from major health issues: heart disease, memory loss, trouble getting around. But today, at 93, Walter is still active, drives himself around, and volunteers 3 days a week in his local community garden. What changed? Not his DNA. His family history is filled with early deaths, most not making it past 75. The real change began when Walter attended a wellness seminar at 65 and learned about these 7 life-changing morning habits. By putting them into practice, he completely shifted his path. While others were slowing down, he was speeding up. When I asked him the secret, he didn't hesitate. "My morning routine saved my life." Now, I'm going to show you exactly what Walter does each morning. Ready to learn the habits that could change everything for you after 60? Let's get started. Habit 1. Immediate hydration. Have you had water yet today? If not, your body is already under stress. Without hydration, your blood begins to thicken, increasing strain on your heart and brain. The very first thing people who regularly live into their 90s and beyond do upon waking isn't checking their phone or turning on the news. It's drinking water, and the timing couldn't be more important. According to top nephrologists and longevity experts at Harvard Medical School, overnight dehydration speeds up aging by a staggering 31%. Dr. Jessica Rothman, director of renal health at Harvard, explains, during sleep, your body becomes progressively dehydrated, causing what we call morning blood sludging. This forces your heart to work harder and causes micro damage to blood vessels in the brain and kidneys. Over time, that damage accelerates aging. Take Sylvia, for example. At 72, she was struggling with chronic kidney problems, daily fatigue, and memory issues. Her doctors were even preparing her for dialysis. Then she started one simple habit: drinking 16 ounces of water the moment she woke up before even getting out of bed. Within 60 days, her kidney function improved by 28%. "My doctor was stunned," she said. "He asked what new medication I was on. I told him, just water. So here's what to do. Starting tonight, place a full glass of water on your nightstand. Tomorrow morning, before your feet hit the floor, drink the entire glass. Not coffee, not tea, water. Room temperature is best, as cold water can shock your system. Make it as non-negotiable as brushing your teeth. Your body has been waiting all night for hydration. Don't make it wait another minute." This is a daily ritual for the world's longest living people. It's not optional, it's essential. Are you already doing this? If not, when will you start? Tomorrow morning could be the first step toward a healthier, longer life. Habit 2. Exposure to natural morning light. Could you be unknowingly disrupting your body's natural rhythm every morning? If you're not getting natural light within the first 30 minutes of waking, you're missing out on one of the most powerful, research-backed habits for longevity. According to studies from the National Institute on Aging, early morning sunlight exposure boosts melatonin production later in the day by up to 73%, a key hormone for deep, restorative sleep. Dr. Andrew Peterson, a leading expert in circadian health and aging, puts it plainly: morning sunlight sets off a chain reaction of hormonal responses that influence everything from sleep quality and metabolism to cognitive performance for the rest of the day. Skipping this morning light signal increases your risk of neurodegenerative disease by 37% after age 70. Take Benjamin. For instance, at 75, he'd spent years battling insomnia. Sleep aids, supplements. Nothing offered lasting relief. Then his doctor gave him one simple instruction: spend at least 10 minutes outside immediately after waking, rain or shine. Within 2 weeks, Benjamin was sleeping soundly again. But that wasn't all. My blood pressure dropped by 15 points, he said, and my afternoon fatigue vanished. All because I started drinking my coffee on the porch instead of inside. Don't put this off another day. Tomorrow morning, make it a priority to step outside or sit by a sunlit window within 30 minutes of waking. Even on overcast days, outdoor light is 50 to 100 times more powerful than indoor lighting and delivers the exact wavelengths your brain needs to regulate your body clock. If going outside isn't possible, consider using a medical-grade light therapy lamp. But whenever possible, natural light is best. This simple act isn't just about better sleep. It's about rewiring your internal clock to slow aging at the cellular level. Will you give your body this signal tomorrow? What's stopping you from stepping outside for a few minutes in the morning? Your long-term health is waiting on it. Habit 3. Gentle movement before breakfast. What you do before your morning coffee could shape how your body moves at 80 and beyond. Most people make the mistake of staying still after waking, waiting until after breakfast to get moving. But this delay can silently trigger inflammation and speed up joint deterioration. According to rheumatologists at the Mayo Clinic, just a few minutes of gentle movement before eating can reduce joint wear and tear by up to 65% in seniors. Dr. Lisa Monroe, Chief of Geriatric Medicine, explains, early morning movement jumpstarts a process called autophagy, your body's natural cellular cleanup system. It's essential for joint health and significantly lowers inflammation. We've seen clear, measurable differences in inflammation levels between those who move before breakfast and those who don't. Just ask Harriet. At 68, she was preparing for knee replacement surgery after years of living with severe arthritis. As a last-ditch effort, her physical therapist recommended a short routine, 7 minutes of gentle movement right after waking, before eating or drinking anything but water. Within 3 months, Harriet's pain had eased so much, her surgery was canceled. I thought my active life was over, she said, but now I'm back on the playground with my grandkids. It all started with a few minutes of morning movement. Here's how you can start. After drinking your morning water, but before food or coffee, take 5 to 10 minutes to gently wake up your body. No need for intense exercise. This is about fluid, feel-good movement. Rotate your ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and wrists. Stand and gently sway from side to side. Reach for your toes or simply lean forward. The goal is light, continuous movement that reactivates your muscles and joints. That stiffness you feel in the morning, it's your body asking for motion. And this short daily practice triggers longevity mechanisms that stay dormant if you remain still. Will you give your joints the attention they deserve? Imagine walking with ease at 85, not because of luck, but because you started this one simple habit. Will tomorrow morning be your turning point? Habit 4, the 30-second breathing practice. This may be the most powerful longevity habit that nearly every person living past 90 shares, and yet it's one of the most overlooked. What if just 30 seconds of intentional breathing each morning could reset your body's stress response, improve cellular health, and potentially add years to your life? Researchers studying the world's blue zones, regions where people regularly live past 100, have found a common thread: intentional morning breathing. These simple patterns lower cellular stress by up to 48%. Dr. Michael Cohen, a longevity researcher in Sardinia, explains, we've tracked lower inflammatory markers and cortisol levels in people who use conscious breathing first thing in the morning. It activates the vagus nerve, telling the body it's safe, so it prioritizes repair and longevity over survival mode. In the mountain villages of Sardinia, where men frequently live into their late 90s, researchers observed a shared ritual. Each morning, elders step outside and begin their day with deep, rhythmic breathing. Their heart rate variability and cortisol levels were comparable to people decades younger. One 96-year-old shepherd said, "I breathe in the morning to prepare for a good day. If I skip it, I feel off by lunchtime." Here's the 30-second breathing routine you can do starting tomorrow. Right after drinking your water, and ideally while soaking in some natural light, practice the 4-7-8 breathing method. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Exhale completely through your mouth for 8 seconds with a gentle whooshing sound. Repeat 3 to 4 cycles. That's it, just 30 seconds. Yet this brief practice has profound effects on blood pressure, inflammation, and your body's stress response. Think it sounds too simple to matter? The science says otherwise. Right now, as you read this, chances are you're only using about 30% of your lung capacity. Most people breathe shallowly and unconsciously. But tomorrow morning, you can change that with just 30 intentional seconds. Will you give yourself that gift? The return on investment for your health could be immense. Habit 5. Protein and fiber-rich breakfast. Could your breakfast be quietly accelerating aging and undermining your long-term health? For many, the answer is yes. The standard breakfast of toast, cereal, or pastries is setting off a cascade of inflammation and insulin spikes that sabotage longevity, often without noticeable symptoms until it's too late. Nutritional gerontologists have identified a powerful pattern among people who live well into their 90s: a high-protein, high-fiber breakfast. In fact, studies show this type of morning meal can reduce inflammatory markers by up to 53%. Dr. Valerie Richardson of the Longevity Nutrition Institute explains, your first meal of the day sets the tone for how your body processes nutrients all day. A breakfast with at least 25 grams of protein and 8 grams of fiber promotes cellular repair and reduces microinflammation, key factors in healthy aging. Look at Gerald's transformation. At 68, he was diagnosed with prediabetes and rising inflammation, even though he wasn't overweight. His doctor warned that full-blown diabetes was likely within 2 years. Instead of jumping to medication, Gerald made one strategic change. He upgraded his breakfast. He swapped his daily toast and coffee for a meal loaded with protein and fiber. 6 months later, his blood sugar and inflammation markers were completely normal. Breakfast was the only thing I changed, Gerald said, and it changed everything. Here's your simple formula for a longevity-boosting breakfast. Protein. Aim for 25 plus grams from eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or plant-based protein powders. Fiber. Add chia seeds, oats, berries, leafy greens, or beans. Healthy fats. Include avocado, olive oil, nuts, or seeds. Avoid refined carbs and sugars before 10 a.m. These spike insulin and accelerate aging. This habit doesn't require extra time. You're already eating breakfast. But with a few swaps, you can turn it into a powerful tool for extending your health span. Will you choose a breakfast tomorrow that supports your body's repair systems? It might feel like a small decision, but over the years, it could mean the difference between thriving and just surviving after 70. What will you eat tomorrow morning? Habit 6. Morning social connection. What if the most powerful life-extending ritual isn't something you eat, drink, or take, but a conversation? It turns out that meaningful human connection in the morning is one of the most potent longevity boosters known to science. In fact, chronic isolation has been shown to impact your body as severely as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And timing matters. According to a groundbreaking 80-year Harvard study, the timing of social interaction plays a critical role in its effectiveness. Dr. Robert Miller, lead researcher, reports, we discovered that participants who had meaningful social contact before 10 a.m. had a 29% lower all-cause mortality rate. Morning connection appears to set off neurotransmitter patterns that benefit immune response, mood regulation, and cardiovascular health for the rest of the day. In Okinawa, Japan, where some of the world's longest-living people reside, this habit is part of daily life. Every morning, neighbors gather briefly for a chat, a check-in, or a simple greeting. One 97-year-old woman explained, "If I don't talk to someone in the morning, my body feels it. We've always checked on each other before starting the day. It keeps us going." Her blood markers for inflammation and stress were far lower than those of socially isolated seniors. Her body was biologically decades younger. Here's how you can start this habit tomorrow. 1. Make a short morning call to a loved one. Just 3 minutes can create the effect. 2. Create a morning check-in ritual if you live with others. Even a shared cup of tea and a quick exchange can anchor your day. 3. Live alone? Arrange a standing meetup, even once a week, with a neighbor or friend. If that's not possible, a kind word to your barista or a fellow walker still counts. The key is this: make meaningful human connection a non-negotiable part of your morning. It sets in motion the biological rhythms of longevity. Supplements, diet, and exercise matter, but they can't replace this. So, who will you connect with tomorrow? Your brain, heart, and immune system are all waiting for that signal. Habit 7. Directed gratitude practice. What if 2 minutes of focused thought each morning could rewire your brain for longevity? That's exactly what people in their 90s consistently do. And it's not just about being thankful. It's a specific, targeted gratitude practice that has been scientifically shown to reduce stress hormones and even slow the brain's aging process. Neuroscientists at Yale University have discovered that when gratitude is practiced intentionally and within an hour of waking, it creates structural changes in the brain. Dr. Sarah Jenkins, an expert in neuroplasticity and aging, explains morning gratitude activates the prefrontal cortex and lowers cortisol by 23%. On brain scans, we see increased activity in regions associated with emotional regulation and resilience, patterns more typical of much younger individuals. Patricia's story brings this to life. At 74, she struggled with high blood pressure that resisted medication. When she began a morning gratitude routine, focused specifically on her body, things changed rapidly. 3 months in, her heart rate variability improved by 31%, and her blood pressure stabilized. "My doctor couldn't believe it," she said. "He kept asking what new drug I was on. I told him just gratitude. Here's how to practice this life-extending habit. 1. After your breathing exercise, sit quietly and place your hand over your heart. 2. Name 3 specific parts of your body you're grateful for, and say why. For example, "Oh, I'm grateful for my hands that let me cook and write. Oh, I'm grateful for my lungs that breathe for me without asking. Oh, I'm grateful for my heart that's been beating for decades, never taking a day off." 3. Speak it out loud if you can. The more sensory systems you engage, the stronger the effect. This isn't wishful thinking, it's biology. Specific gratitude, especially toward your body, shifts your nervous system from stress mode into a regenerative state. It's like sending a daily signal to your cells. We're safe. Let's thrive. Will you take 2 minutes tomorrow to thank the body that's carried you this far? Those who do it consistently often live longer, healthier, and more joy-filled lives. Your body is listening. What will you say to it in the morning? Now you know the 7 powerful morning habits that can transform your health after 60 and potentially add years, even decades, to your life. The goal isn't perfection. You don't need to adopt all 7 at once. Just choosing 3 and practicing them consistently can create noticeable, lasting changes in your energy, resilience, and overall well-being. Remember Walter? He didn't overhaul everything overnight. He started small with just 2 habits, and over time, those small steps led to a radically different future. The most important thing is to start, not next week, not when life calms down. Start tomorrow. Your morning routine is either aging you or renewing you. Which direction are you heading? These aren't luxuries. They're life essentials for anyone who wants to not only reach their 90s, but to get there full of energy, sharpness, and purpose. So, which of these 7 habits will you begin with tomorrow? Your future self is depending on the choice you make today. If you found this valuable, tap that like button and subscribe for more life-changing health insights that most people over 60 never hear about. Already practicing one of these habits? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know which ones. And if someone you care about could benefit from this, share it with them. It might be the simple gift that adds years to their life.